Hello friends, in this video we can discuss about open chain meso compounds and the application of the dot convention to determine the enantiomers of chiral compounds derived from cyclohexane. So, this material will discussed by me as Rehi Enzalika Ginting and my friends Tania Azahra Daulay. So the first, the meso compound will explain by me. A meso compound is an achiral compound that has chiral centers. A meso compound contains an internal plane of symmetry which makes it superimposable on its mirror image and is optical inactive, although it contains two or more stereo centers. Remember, an internal plane of symmetry was shown to make a molecule achiral. In general, a meso compound should contain two or more identical substituent stereocenters. Also, it has an internal symmetry plane that divides the compound in half. These two halves reflect each other by the internal mirror. The stereochemistry of reflex stereocenter should cancel out. Next is, what is a meso compound? Meso compounds are chiral compounds that are actually achiral. They have more than one chiral center. They have an internal mirror plane or internal plane of symmetry. They do not exhibit optical activity. Characteristic of chain meso compounds open has equivalent chiral carbon atoms. There is a plane of symmetry in the center of the molecule. R, S, or S, R are at two chiral centers, an open chain or not cyclic. Examples of open chain meso compound: 2,3-butanediol or RS or SR. Tartaric acid is the mesoform. 3,4-hexanediol is the mesoform. The structure has two identical chiral centers. Structure of 2,3-butanediol or meso: HO, CH, CH3, CH, CH3, OH. Chiral centers at C2 and C3. There is a very vertical plane of symmetry. Configuration is R and S. Why are meso compounds optically inactive? Left and right rotation cancel each other out. The plane of symmetry prevents total chirality. It does not rotate polaris-like. A meso compound must have first two or more stereocenter. Second, an internal plane of symmetry or internal mirror that lies in compound. Third, stereochemistry that cancel out. This means reflected stereocenter should have the same substituent and be inverted. For instance, in a meso compound with two stereocenters, one should be R and the other S. The compounds 2,3-dichlorobutane contains two chiral carbons and therefore would be expected to provide two different stereoisomers. These stereoisomers should be made up of two pairs of enantiomers. Upon further investigation, the meso compound has an internal plane of symmetry, which is not present in the pair of enantiomers. The plane of symmetry in the meso compound comes about because there are two chiral carbons present. Both chiral carbons are identically substituent ClHCH3 or chloride, hydrogen, and methanol. And one chiral carbon is R and the other is S, despite being represented as mirror images. Both structures represent the same compound. This is best proven by making molecular model of both representation and the superimation them. Overall, only has three possible stereoisomer: the pair of enantiomer and the meso compound.
Hello everyone, welcome to this organic chemistry learning video. In this video, we will explore the use of the dot convention to determine enantiomers in chiral derivatives of cyclohexane. This topic is very important because cyclohexane derivatives frequently appear in stereochemistry, especially when determining R or S configuration. Let's get started. Cyclohexane commonly adopts the chair conformation, which is the most stable form. In this conformation, its carbon carries two substituent positions. The first, an axial position, where a substituent points straight up or down, and then an equatorial position, where a substituent points outward, nearly parallel to the ring plane. If a cyclohexane ring has different substituents on a particular carbon, that carbon may become a chiral center. This is where stereochemical analysis begins. When drawing cyclohexane derivatives, we often label substituents as up, meaning above the ring, or down, meaning below the ring. However, up and down don't necessarily indicate whether the substituent points out of the plane or behind the plane of the paper. Because of this, we need a method that keeps substituent orientation consistent even when the chair is redrawn or rotate. This is where the dot convention becomes useful. The dot convention is a way to indicate the orientation of substituent relative to the viewer in a three-dimensional drawing. The rules are simple. A dot means the substituent is pointing out of the plane toward the viewer, and a cross means the substituent is pointing behind the plane away from the viewer. This system works similarly to wedge and dash notation, but with one major advantage. You don't need to change the chair conformation. You simply add dots and cross to show orientation, and the stereochemistry remains clear. Here are the steps for determining R or S configuration and identifying enantiomers using the dot convention. The first step 1, draw the chair conformation. Identify whether its substituent is axial or equatorial and whether it is up or down. Step 2, determine direction relative to the viewer. An up substituent may be a dot or a cross depending on how the chair is drawn. A down substituent can also be a dot or a cross. This depends on visual orientation, not solely on the up or down label. And step 3, identify the chiral center. A chiral center is a carbon with 4 different groups attached. In cyclohexane derivatives, the substituent carbons are typically the chiral centers. Step 4, assign priority using CIP rules. Use the Chan-Ingold-Prelog system to determine substituent priority based on atomic number. Step 5, determine R or S. View the molecule from the side of the lowest priority substituent. In the sequence 1, 2, 3 rotates clockwise, the configuration is R. If it rotates counterclockwise, it is S. Because the dot convention makes substituent direction clear, this assignment becomes more straightforward. And the last step, step 6, determine the enantiomer. To draw the enantiomer, convert all R centers to S and S centers to R. Replace every dot with a cross and every cross with a dot. If both the configuration and the orientation marks change, the structure is the correct enantiomer. Example case. Let's take 1-bromo 2-methyl cyclohexane as an example. 1. Draw the chair conformation. 2. Determine the up or down position of the bromo and methyl substituents. 3. Add dots or cross to show their directions relative to the viewer. 4. Identify the chiral centers at carbon 1 and carbon 2. 5. Assign priorities using the CIP rules. 6. Determine whether each center is R or S. 7. And last, to obtain the enantiomer, flip all dots to crosses and all crosses to dots, and invert all R as Assignments. With the dot convention, substituent orientation remains clear even when the chair is redrawn or rotated. Several common mistakes can lead to incorrect stereochemical assignments. The first, assuming that up always means out of the plane. The second, assuming axial always corresponds to a wedge and equatorial always to a dash. Incorrectly applying CIP priority rules. And the last, being inconsistent with dot and cross usage. These small mistakes can lead to incorrect stereochemical conclusions. Okay, let's summarize. Cyclohexane has axial and equatorial positions, and substituents may point up or down. Up or down describes direction relative to the ring, not the viewer. The dot convention shows the true orientation relative to the viewer. It greatly simplifies assigning R or S configurations on cyclohexane rings, and the last enantiomers are obtained by flipping all R or S assignments and switching all dots and crosses. With this understanding, stereochemical analysis of cyclohexane derivatives becomes much more accurate. Thank you for watching this learning video. I hope this explanation of the dot convention helps you determine enantiomers in cyclohexane derivatives more confidently. See you in the next video.